This plant in the sweet little Rosegrown planter here is called Rhipsalis elliptica, and it is a type of jungle cactus that is from Brazil. And I actually can't tell you a little bit more about how these plants are doing, because if you've seen some of my posts, you know, a lot of these plants are actually going endangered in Brazil because they are native to typically that Atlantic forest area, which has undergone a lot of deforestation. But I can't comment specifically on Rhipsalis elliptica. I don't actually see it in cultivation a lot in the United States. It might actually be in cultivation maybe more in Europe or Australia or in other places, so please comment if you actually have this plant. But I treat this just like a typical Rhipsalis. So that means a few different things. One, I'm not giving it like intense light. It's not like a typical cacti where you actually could put it in a south or west facing window. And again, I'm in the Northeast, so my windows in the south and west usually get really intense light. I have this actually pulled back. It's on my shelf near my southwest facing window, but it's actually pulled back and it's hidden by a number of plants that are much more sun loving. These plants are typically found in the understories of forests. So they're epiphytic, which means that they're growing on other plants, or sometimes they're growing in on rocks or in between rocky crags. So I have a barky, kind of rocky, succulent soil mix here because you don't want these plants sitting in water. Or if you're watering them frequently, you want to be able to up the airflow then, because then that will dry them out a little bit more easily. You could see that these are kind of flattened stems, and they are called phylloclades. So they actually act like leaves. So this is where the photosynthesis is actually happening in the plant, which is like super cool. And if you want to know more about Rhipsalis, I actually did a whole Rhipsalis propagation and care video, and I highlighted a number of different types of species of Rhipsalis. I think this one actually made a cameo appearance as part of the B-roll because I have this little cute little planter right here. What else can I say? Fertilizing. So fertilizing for this plant, you could do it on a monthly basis during the growing season, and I just use, regular succulent fertilizer. You could use like a 2,4, a 3,4,7, 0,11, 1,2,2. Any of those will actually be fine. Of course, you could probably get away with other types of fertilizers too. And again, take this information as a guide, not as gospel. And of course, if you're growing this plant, tell me how you're growing it in the comments below, because I love when people comment some elements that are a little bit more educational on how they're growing it, because this could become a living wiki of sorts so that people can learn how to grow these plants in different conditions. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.